Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy, and I want to talk about the unbelievably stunning news coming out of Colorado, right? So the state of Colorado, specifically the Colorado Supreme Court, has said we are going to take a U.S. president, right, who has already run and been president for 4 years, and we're going to take him off his party's own primary ballot, making it so that he is not on all 50 state ballots, right? Now, to my knowledge, that's a guaranteed loss. That is a guaranteed loss. I don't think and the reason why is if you can't handle the problems, the bureaucratic red tape it takes to get onto the ballot in all 50 states, you are not a real candidate. And it is a shockingly clear statement to the world saying, hey, this ain't a real candidate, right? This guy can't even get on the ballot in all 50 states, right? And the reality is this is true. President Donald Trump is no longer a functioning politician in any way, right? He's 80 years old. He belongs in an assisted facility institution. He does not belong in the Oval Office. No 80-year-old belongs in the Oval Office. We're running this experiment right now. We know the answer, right? No 80-year-olds belong in office. We need to, it's so bad right now. I think the American people are like, I don't even think we should ever have a 70-year-old. Actually, let's cut it off at the point we've already decided to cut it off, retirement, right? This isn't your hey, I got a little job at the convenience store down the block, selling Slurpees. This is the hardest job in the world. And if the government is paying you not to work, maybe don't take the hardest job in the world, right? So President Donald Trump is finished. So what I want to talk about today is Vivek Ramaswamy. Horrible response. So he said, hey, everybody, I want to, if President Trump can't be on the Colorado ballot, I'm not going to be on the Colorado ballot. This is I love Vivek Ramaswamy. I want to make this super clear because I'm about to roll hard on him, okay? This is a massive mistake, okay? But I want to make this super clear. Vivek Ramaswamy is my guy, right? I don't jump ship at the first storm wave that hits. I don't jump ship when I see black clouds. I don't jump ship when I see lightning coming down, and it hits the mast and the sails are falling. I don't jump ship, man. I will be with him to the end, all right? But I'm transparent, and I'm going to tell you when he does something wrong. This was a massive, massive mistake, right? Chris Christie, that dude is a waste of space in the debates, but he rolls hard. He realizes he's he's saying Donald Trump is a competitor. I think the reality is this shows Donald Trump is not a competitor. He is not a competitor. But here's the issue, right? I understand that Vivek wants to make sure he keeps. I understand that Vivek wants to make sure he keeps goodwill with every single Trump voter, right? Because it's an easy convert. As soon as something takes out, Donald Trump, they're going to go and find an actual functioning Republican candidate, right? And guess what? It's here. This is pretty incredible. All these indictments, all this, chicanery, all these shenanigans that they're doing to catch Trump up, right? First of all, he invited a ton of this, right? So I kind of feel like it is on him, right? He has been a horrible human being for a long time, right? So of course people are going to hate on you, right? But you got to be quick and peppy. You got to be able to push off the haters, right? He's 80 years old. He can't push off anything. He can't push off a blanket, right? He's 80 years old. I apologize. I'm so sorry. I just can't. I cannot believe we are in a nation where two parties are saying, hey, you want some sad sack person that you should be given a blanket and sweet tea to be your leader? No, I do not. Right? There's no difference between Biden voters and Trump voters. None. This is apples, bananas. We've got to finish this ridiculous, experiment that we already know the answer to, that we're trying to run again, right? This is really bad, right? So, okay. Let's get it all the way there. All right. So here's the issue, right? Trump is catching it. He bargled around and now he's finding out. Vivek, don't step in front of the train that is coming for him, right? Don't take that train too. You didn't call that train, right? You didn't send fuel to the train station and bring your own people to make sure that train was coming for you, right? Like Biden, President Trump put himself on the track, right? Like he's been begging for this, right? All of the troubles he has, right? He lies constantly, right? If you lie constantly, people are going to come and say, hey, a whole bunch of words you said when you were the most powerful man in the world turned out to not be true, and that has ramifications, right? Vivek, you had no business putting yourself in front of the train that Donald Trump spun up for himself. This was a terrible, terrible idea, right? And Vivek should absolutely not remove himself from the ballot in unison with President Trump. This is absurd. And this is one point where I'm like, oh my gosh, Chris Christie was right. You got to recognize when your enemies is doing themselves in, right? This is Trump this is Trump embargoed around, and now he's finding out. Ain't no reason in the world Vivek Ramaswamy should be catching that too, right? He didn't do any of this nonsense. He didn't do anything to end up here, right? But Trump did a lot to end up here, right? And what did he do, right? Did he break some law? No, he made people hate him constantly, right? Like, like in every single direction but one. He was like, oh, are you male? Are you Ward? I love you. Everybody else in the world can kick rocks. And the world hates him, and the world is coming for him. And the earlier version of Donald Trump that could get up on a stage and handle every opponent on the stage and could push off the problems that he had, great. Now you grandpa, iced tea, blanket, rocket chair, sitting dude, you ain't got no energy for none of this. You brought problems you don't have the energy to handle, right? And so Vivek, you are a real candidate. Do not remove yourself. Do not take on the problems of Donald Trump that you do not deserve, that he does deserve, right? And I ain't even talking like, oh, the law came for him. No, he created a world where everybody in the world was gunning for him. Now he lacks the strength to deal with it, right? So don't take on problems that he bought, right? You don't have the receipt for that, Vivek. There's no reason for it, right? So the reality is, let's take the advantage while we can. Vivek, stay on every ballot. I don't know how clear this could be. Anybody who can't make it on the ballot in every state is going to lose, right? So, and I know, here we go. That means Vivek don't have to break his vow, right? And I don't like breaking vows. That's a bad, bad thing, right? But I'd rather see him break this vow than to not be on the ballot in every state, right? And right now, his words don't mean anything, right? He'd have to file the forms, right? So do not file the forms. Remain on every ballot. And I'll tell you right now out there, if you can't get on the ballot in all 50 states, nobody should vote for you. Period. End of sentence. No one, right? And frankly, we didn't need this to know not to vote for President Donald Trump. He's just a horrible monster human. That's reason enough to vote for that fool, right? And so Vivek, don't take the train that you never called. Right? Don't take the train that you didn't put the full fuel in. Don't take the train that you didn't lay the tracks for. Let President Trump get hit by the train that he built, that he called, that he fueled, that he laid the tracks for. Every single word, the virtual train, every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider subscribing and have a wonderful millennium.